Hi everyone, it's Sarah again, and I am back for part 3 on my Adventures in Anxiety vlog about taking medication for my anxiety and the titration process. So if you haven't watched the first 2 parts of this video, I recommend you do that. The link is below. Part 1 talks about my decision to take medication, why did I go down that path, and what are the medications that I take for my generalized anxiety disorder. And part 2 talks about the titration process or reducing the dosage, at least one of the dosages that I'm taking. But today, different shirt, different day. Today I'm here with part 3, and part 3 is about what it's been like so far, almost 3 weeks into the process, to share what I've been doing to manage all the side effects from the titration process, as well as what's next for me. So what's been happening so far? So I've been reducing the dosage of my Fetsima, which is an SNRI, so it impacts the serotonin and norepinephrine in the brain. And I'm almost 3 weeks into that reduction. What that means is that each week I take a step down in dosage. So the first week I went from taking an entire pill to about 3/4, then from 3/4 to half, and then half to 25%, which is where I'm at now. The next step down will be going off of it entirely, and I'll talk about why I'm going to be delaying that a little bit later in the vlog. So what's it been like? I've had 2 symptoms that have been relatively consistent throughout the process. I've had a headache, mild headache, on and off for the last 3 weeks. That's not super great. I just have my water bottle with me at all times. I'm trying to stay hydrated, and sometimes I'll take some ibuprofen. The more constant side effect is that I'm pretty irritable. Or as my husband would say, how would we know the difference? Because I tend to be irritable at times. I maintain it's because I spend all of my day at the company very professional, presenting in the right way, and then by the end of the day, I'm just done. Sorry, husband, that's just what happens. So I've been more irritable, and that has not been fantastic. One thing I've been doing to combat the symptoms in general is 2 weeks ago, I started a new workout program. If you know me at all, you know I love to work out. I'm always working out. I aim for 5, ideally 6 days a week, doing something athletic. But what I know to be true is that having gone through this withdrawal process before, serotonin withdrawal tends to affect my sleep. And if I'm not well rested, all of these other symptoms are going to get worse. I can't get up and go to work. I can't participate in my family the way that I want to. So I decided I'm just going to ramp up the cardio. So I joined a program called the Hollywood Trainer Club. And if you know me, I'm not a joiner. I'm not joining for the plan or the meals. I hate shakes, so why would I do that? But Jeanette Jenkins, who's the founder of the Hollywood Trainer Club, I really like her workouts. You can see some of them free on YouTube. So if you go to Pop Sugar Fitness and look for Jeanette Jenkins, highly recommend it. That's how I found her. She's really positive. She's really uplifting, but it's still some intense stuff. So now 2 weeks in, I've done probably 6 or 7 of her either cardio boot camp or cardio kickbox workouts. And oh my word, they're super difficult. They're between 30 and 60, actually 30 and 90 minutes long. I made it through 75. That's as far as I've gotten. But what happens is that I'm sleeping so much better. So even when this titration is finished, I'm definitely going to keep doing these workouts because I just feel great. I tried to do one yesterday, and my calves said, thank you next. So I went and did some light cardio. So it's a bit of an adjustment, but that's really helped. The reason I didn't want to make the video now is that I did have a bit of an incident this weekend, a worse day, a much stronger reaction, and it was the day that I stepped down from 50% to 25%. And it's a weird experience because you know you're going through serotonin withdrawal. You know what's happening to you. You know that the things you're experiencing that I'm about to talk about are normal. So it's like you're standing on the balcony of your life and you're watching, you're floating above your body and you're watching, and you know what's happening, but you can't stop it. That's how strong the physical sensations and reactions are. And so I like to say there's no way out but through. So it was just trying to move through it and do what I could to manage it in the moment. So what happened? So I took my new dose on a Saturday morning. And if I'm putting it bluntly, I lost my shit. I was super irritable And the physical sensation was super strong. It wasn't, I talked about the brain zaps, which is part of serotonin withdrawal, where it feels like your brain's vibrating in your skull. My whole body was vibrating on the wrong frequency. I felt like I wanted to crawl out of my skin. I couldn't get comfortable. I was physically like, I couldn't stop moving or rocking or shaking, literally shaking. Um, and it was also this rush of emotion. So I was sobbing. I could not stop crying. And again, it's weird because it's happening to me, and I know it's happening to me, and I know why it's happening to me. And the sensations are so strong that I was just in this spin for some amount of time. My poor husband, love you, got to be there for all of this. He's been my rock in this entire process. I was diagnosed when I was diagnosed. We've been dating about 18 months. We weren't living together. We weren't engaged. We weren't married. He could have stepped back, but he stepped forward. That was his choice. And it's going to make me emotional because it takes something to be with someone when they're at their worst. And he's always been there for me when I'm at my worst. So it felt weird because it feels like a huge backslide. So I'm standing in our living room. I'm hugging my cat who's wandering around and might make a guest appearance today. And I'm sobbing and I can't stop myself. And it's a sense of I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And that lack of agency when you can't control your body, that's part of what this process is, because you don't have control over what's going to happen. You can manage what happens when it does. You control the dose that you put into your body. But honestly, you really don't know what's going to happen. And that is pretty freaking scary, if you ask me. So I got through it. We brainstormed as I'm, holding the cat and sobbing. What could I do? So I ended up doing something that's quite meditative to me, which is playing the piano. Weird to do when you're crying, but anyway. So I sat down on my piano and I played, and that, for some reason, music releases something in me. So I was able to start to manage through that. Did a lot of healthy eating, and then did a killer workout that day. And that's something I want to talk about because it's common when you're dealing with mental illness, or actually just in general. People use different ways to cope with that. And for whatever reason, we divide those into healthy and to unhealthy ways. At this point, because these are short-term things that I'm hopefully going to move through and be done with when this titration is over, I'm really allowing myself to cope with whatever's going to work. So for example, if I'm on a plane, what would I ideally do to cope with a panic attack? Well, I'd walk around, I'd talk to a friend, I'd go outside, I'd go somewhere safe, but I'm in an aluminum tube in the sky. There's nothing that I can do. Is it aluminum? A metal tube in the sky. I'm in a metal tube in the sky. There's nothing I can do about this. So what do? I find the trashiest show I have on my tablet, and I mow through an entire bar of chocolate. Is that the healthiest coping strategy? No, but in the moment, that's what's available to you. So in this particular case, as I'm going through this titration process, some things are going to be sustainable. So I'm really enjoying this new cardio routine. I'm probably going to keep doing that, but some things are not sustainable, and that's okay because it's managing it in the short term. And once I settle into that new normal dose, whatever that happens to be, then I'll have to evaluate. So what's happening next? Well, if I was continuing my normal titration, I would take that last big step for the Fetsima, so from 25% to 0. This is the one that gives me anxiety, shocker. But we're doing some travel in the next week or so. So my guess is I'm going to hold at this 25% dose for a little bit longer. Another thing that is possible that I talked about with my psychiatrist, is doing a smaller jump. So going, instead of taking a big 25 to 0 step, saying 25 to 10. So just having the dose again, rather than going down an entire dose. And that seems smart to me. Again, this is not a race. This is going to be a long-term thing. And as soon as that dose stabilizes for a week, then I start to reduce the boost bar. Again, buspirone is not a serotonin-based drug. The withdrawal, supposedly, and I've never gone off of it before, is much more mild. So my hope is that instead of taking 4 to 5 weeks, I can reduce the dose in 2. That's the hope. So again, why am I doing this? There's a lot of stigma around mental illness, and that's something that I'm trying to break down by sharing my story, to let you know that you're not alone, and to give you insight into, if you have a friend or a family member that's experiencing mental illness, this is what it's like. And it's a disease. That's exactly what it is. It's not a weakness. Taking medication does not make you weak. stepping up and treating what's ailing you makes you strong. So thank you for listening, and I hope to come back in the next week or two with another update, hopefully saying I'm off my middle dose of Fetsima and that I'm working on the abuse bar. Thanks for watching, y'all. Bye.